Thank you for clicking on this audio video overview for the full-time recruiter position at LG-OSS in Irving, Texas. Now, what this is a comprehensive piece of information and guidance for you as a candidate about the position, the opportunity, and the process that we're going through. The reason we're doing this is really to streamline the process, because we can give this to you to listen to anytime, and you can listen to it multiple times if you want. But also, if we had to schedule a conversation with you, it might take days to get on your calendar for us to have an opening and have the dialogue. So what this does is it accelerates the process, because the position is time sensitive and we are looking to hire somebody as immediately as possible. Okay, so one of the benefits to you, however, as a candidate is you're going to get a much more detailed understanding of the role, the opportunity, and the benefits from this than you will from all the information that's downloadable on the web. Also, we're going to ask you if this seems in line with your career goals and what you want to do, that you provide us with some additional information to complement your resume. And that'll give you a little bit of time to prepare your answers, because we actually read all that information and we give it a lot more attention sometimes than even the resume. So with that in mind, again, if this seems like something that is ideal for you and your circumstances professionally, then we're going to give you a link, probably in the email that we've already given you, to submit some information back to us. Now, I should say, first of all, congratulations, because you're already a candidate that's been pre-qualified. We've got folks that have identified the opportunity, or we've identified you. You may have seen something online, or we found your resume and we're communicating with you directly. But if you had not been evaluated first and been pre-qualified, you would not be getting this email and this link. So you're kind of in the middle of the process already, because the pre-qualification is done. And I think the way the normal recruiting process would work is, if we were going to interview you, it would be like a phone screen with one of the recruiters. This takes the place of that. So we're going to give you a bunch of information, and then we're going to collect information from you to speed this along. Okay, so the information that's included here is basically all you need to know to be able to answer the questions and move forward. Our timeline is ASAP. It's going to take probably a week or two to get through the hiring process. We have to finish selection, and then if you're actually working, you're going to want to give professional notice, or it might take a little bit of time if you've lived in multiple places, because we do a background check. So other than that, this can move very quickly. Now, what we're looking for is somebody who's not just looking for a job, they're looking for an opportunity. And I'm going to get a little bit more into detail about that. This is a full-time position as a recruiter with LG-OSS in Irving. It's a hybrid environment, so you're working from home part of the time and in the office part of the time, which means you also need to have a home environment that is conducive to work. So quiet, Wi-Fi, phone, all the resources you need to be effective. And this is also something that, if you have the opportunity to work here, you're not just working for a regional company based in Texas, but you're also working to help support one of our customers, which is a major globally recognized telecom company. And that's going to look really good on the resume, because anytime you have a globally recognized brand on your resume and not just local or regional companies, it improves your marketability and your value long term. So I mentioned the difference between a job and an opportunity. If you're a recruiter, you probably know where I'm going with this. A job is something that pays the bills. And for a candidate, it's just basically work. But an opportunity has potential. It has growth opportunities. But I'm going to suggest it's more than that. You could be in a great recruiting role for a larger company. And trust me, I've been in this space for 25 years, so I know. And you're going to do the same thing every day. You're going to have a quota. You're going to have specific requirements. And in 3 years, you're going to get 1 year of experience 3 times, because you're going to have very consistent responsibilities. You're going to do the same thing, and you're going to be told to stay in your lane. And frequently there's limited opportunities for growth. So this is different. because you're going to be exposed also to a variety of HR-related functions. You may be asked to assist with safety and security-related training and communication with employees. You may be involved with annual benefits rollouts and other things to support the HR function. There's a whole host of HR-related projects that you could also get pulled into as well as you have time and availability. So what does all this mean? Well, this is really ideal for somebody who is relatively new to talent acquisition or HR, and they're looking to gain more experience, or they're looking for something that's moving them into a broader role with more responsibilities. So an existing recruiter might also think this is valuable if they're trying to break into a situation where they've got more opportunity, because you're definitely going to have situations here where you're going to have professional achievements and differentiators that you can put on your resume because of your expanded responsibilities and other opportunities. So somebody who really wants to grow and is willing to accept the challenge of taking on recruiting support in addition to, as time permits, these other functions, then you're the kind of person that's probably going to benefit the most from this opportunity, and you're also the kind of person we're looking for. So let me introduce myself. My name's Mark. I'm a recruiting manager. I work for a third-party organization that does recruiting support on a fractional basis, and we provide just that, recruiting support. We're not the hiring organization. We're not a staffing company. So it's important that we just have that full transparency up front, because a lot of times people will wonder, are you staffing a job? No, we're looking for a full-time person to go on board as a W-2 employee with benefits with LG-OSS. So there's no AI here. This is all real people involved. Actually, I'm recording this audio and we're uploading this video out of the DFW Metroplex here just north of Dallas. And we're not the hiring company. All the hiring decisions will be made by LG-OSS. So there's a couple companies involved here. Proforce, the company we represent, is performing the recruiting function. And then next, LG-OSS is the hiring organization. That's where you're going to have all of your benefits and their payroll run through. And then the customer, who's nameless at this point, is a very large, as I said, global telecom organization. We have a huge contract that's multi-year to service this company, operating in like 14 states, several hundred employees. So we always have recruiting requirements, and there's always needs for people. So the project is really a recruiting function. We'll get into a little bit more, but honestly, if you're in the recruiting space, you already know what a full lifecycle recruiter does. You're responsible for assisting with job posting and candidate communication, screening, vetting, rating and ranking, scheduling appointments, pre-interviews and interviews, submittal to the hiring manager. You know the drill, the whole thing. And the downloadable position profile has a pretty robust job description with an element that includes duties and responsibilities, so you can see that. Now, we are recruiting for multiple locations. So that means in this role, you may be physically located in the Irving, Texas area and working from home sometime as well, but we're recruiting for properties and operating locations in like 14 different states. So there's over 100 different locations, so it's extremely dynamic. You're going to have a lot of experience very, very quickly, no question about it. So some of the competencies that I want to highlight, which is just beyond the normal recruiting function, is we're really looking for somebody with really great professional communication. You're going to need to be impactful and persuasive and appealing in the way you communicate. You're going to need to have a combination of patience and persistence, great professional etiquette. And we don't want you to just tell us about how amazing you are in your communication skills. You need to demonstrate that along the way in the process. You need to be very results oriented. I mean, we tell our recruiting team all the time, the client or the hiring manager, who is our customer ultimately, they don't care about how much activity we put in. All they care about is results. So you need to have that focus as well. There's also a need for somebody that knows how to build collaborative relationships, because you've got internal stakeholders within HR and operations, you've got leadership, and then you've got supervisory team members in the field. So there's a lot of moving parts. And then, of course, there's the client. Personal credibility is huge. We're looking for somebody that has a background of prior experience as well as success in a recruiting role. This can't be your first recruiting job. If you've only been doing recruiting for 1 to 3 years, we're definitely going to consider you, because this is really considered not an entry-level opportunity, but something that's appropriate for a junior-level person that is looking to gain more experience. But again, they already have credibility because they've already been effective in a recruiting role in the past. We're also looking for somebody that's not only analytical, because we're very metrics and data driven, but also somebody that can assist with continuous improvement. They're analytical, they're thinking about ways to make suggested improvements, and they're forward thinking, both anticipating problems and devising solutions. So in case you were wondering, there is no supervisory responsibility associated with this role. That's not to say that there's not opportunities in the future for something like that, but at this point, it is a independent contributor role. Now, as you might have seen in the job posting, the base compensation, and it's important that we communicate it that way, is $20 to $22 an hour commensurate with experience. So that's $41,600 up to $45,760 per year. Number one, that's base compensation. Number two, if you're already making $80,000 a year, we're not going to negotiate. You're just out of the ballpark. This is not the job for you. You may have been selected to receive this information because you've got all the skills and abilities, but if you absolutely are looking for something that is consistent with your past income, then we just want to let you know right up front what the compensation is. Now, we also have a quarterly bonus that is built into the total comp plan that includes a bonus that's calculated based on positions that have been filled and retention. So we use a retention metric in order to really drive attention to quality of hire, not just quantity of hire or speed to hire. So if you're in the strategic talent acquisition space, you can appreciate that. Now, there is a full benefit package. So if we look at total comp and total rewards, it's pretty robust because we're looking at medical, dental, vision, vacation pay, PTO, sick time, and 401k, all kinds of stuff. So all the standard things that you might expect in a professional role, like short-term disability and group term life insurance, all that stuff's also included. When you download the position profile, you'll be able to see a summary of all of the benefits there as well. So again, I think what's in it for someone like yourself as a candidate is, there's a short-term opportunity because it's a job, it's going to pay the bills. You might even find it relatively easy and not so challenging, but as you get your arms around it, there's an opportunity for more challenging work because you can expand your scope of responsibilities in that you're helping the HR function as well. So for somebody that doesn't want to just stay a talent acquisition specialist, but they want to have additional responsibilities to beef up their resume, this is an ideal role. And I'll tell you why that's probably more and more important. As things change in our economy, especially here in the US, and organizations look to be more efficient and to downsize and to leverage automation and artificial intelligence and all of the things that are influencing our space, you want to not be pigeonholed. You want to be able to show a resume where you're capable of wearing multiple hats, performing multiple functions. This is extremely important in a small organization where most people wear multiple hats, but it's also valuable in a larger organization where there's fluidity in the way that the people are managed, and as vacancies become available, you can be eligible and considered for other things. So, I can tell you personally, it's always benefited me to have a wide variety of experience and accomplishments and achievements rather than just be deeply siloed in one function. So the long-term goals and the benefits, I think, to you professionally if this is important to you, is longevity. You're in a role that's dependable, long-term company. You've got a huge logo that you'll find out in the process here what company we're talking about. But a globally recognized logo on your resume, which will always create tremendous value in the future, and the opportunity for achievements and accomplishments is hugely differentiating. So, yeah, I guess in short, the long-term career impact of being in an organization in a role like this is much better than maybe making a little bit more money in a role where you're just doing the same thing all the time and you're really not expanding your value proposition. So definitely something to consider. Okay, last thing I want to cover is the eligibility requirements, because as you can see, only a high school diploma is required, or the equivalent. We're not requiring a bachelor's degree. If you have it, great. You may actually be considered preferred in the process, but it's not required. We do want to see at least 1 to 3 years of full life cycle recruiting. So that means you have been involved or touched the responsibilities that are very well represented in the job description, and you've got those soft skills that I already talked about. And if I'm covering it on this audio video, you can betcha that it's going to be important and it's going to come up somewhere along the way. So make note of the things that I'm covering. Those soft skills like communication, interpersonal skills, analytical and problem-solving skills, all very important. And we also are looking for somebody that's got existing knowledge of both of the most important Microsoft Office applications. So email, Microsoft Word, and Excel especially, because we do use a lot of Excel-based tools for pivot tables and reporting and analytics and graphing and other things. So if you have that, make sure that you let us know to what degree you're accomplished in Excel, because that's very helpful as well as a differentiator for you. Also, if you've got prior experience recruiting in the transportation, light industrial, or warehousing space, that's really preferred. It's not required, but if you've got it, that's even better, because that is our space. That's where LG-OSS thrives. And then if you've got a combination of education or recruiting experience, and you've got more years than minimally required, then don't think you're overqualified. If this is something that's of interest to you, we absolutely want to consider you. And I think maybe one other thing I could tell you about the organization is maybe the culture. I think as a candidate, if you have any insight at all into the kind of organization, then you really want to know that to the degree you can. LG-OSS has kind of a large corporate structure to it because of the types of people that are in leadership and the types of experience and the types of contracts that the organization has. But at the ground level, it's very family oriented. And the core values really reflect a commitment to excellence. Core values include fostering teamwork, managing performance, analytical and forward thinking, personal credibility, persuasive communication, influencing others, and building collaborative relationships. These things are important. So I'm done. The next step is yours. If this all sounds really interesting to you, then we want to hear from you. We've provided you a link with a questionnaire that you can complete at your convenience. It is something that you can take a little bit of time for and make sure you get the information right. This is your chance to not be shy. One of the things I tell candidates all the time, because I do a lot of career counseling for executives in transition, it is, don't act like a candidate. Don't just answer all the questions like you're being interrogated. Sell yourself. Understand that you are in a position where your background, your skills and experience is going to solve a problem. And if there was no problem, there wouldn't be a need to bring you on board. So consider yourself as the solution for a problem that the organization has and sell yourself accordingly. Don't be shy. If there's something that we didn't ask, but you think that it adds value and it differentiates you from other candidates, add that to the additional comments on the questionnaire so that we can get that information about you as well. Okay, we will look at the information as soon as we receive it. Our recruiting team is ready over the next several days to handle all of the evaluations and provide feedback. One of the commitments we make to you as a third-party organization is if you don't get the job, we still want to thank you for being part of the process and treat you like a VIP because you're going to go somewhere. So we do give you access to some career resource tools with regard to resume writing, improvement, personal branding, and how to interview very, very well. So that's something that we give as a gift to you, even if you're not qualified or if you're opted out of the process, just by being a candidate. That's our way of thanking you, and we will do that. Okay, again, my name is Mark. I'm with Proforce, and we're so happy to have crossed paths with you and hope to get the feedback from you and look forward to getting your information. That's it. See you in the process.